Hi there guys, I'm back. It's been quite a while since I put up a video, but I'm back to have a little talk about what I think is going to be happening with the new Hobbit strategy war game from Games Workshop. If you've been taking notice of the White Dwarf recently, you'll see that we've had a couple of adverts in there for the game, and there was a picture of Thorin in the back of the latest one, which means that we assume next month is going to be a Hobbity December. With that in mind, it seems as if Games Workshop has taken the rule books off the shelves and they've taken down the Mines of Moria box set as well. This all kind of points towards there being a new box set and a new rulebook coming in the next month or so. Um, but how is that all going to work? Well, after trawling the forums for a little while, I managed to find out a few little bits and pieces that I think are, worth their pinch of salt. The first one is that we're thinking the new strategy boxed game, the starter set as you were, will potentially be focused around goblins, and they think that the title might be Escape from Goblin Town. It's a bit of a cheesy title, but you know. It's going to include all 13 of the dwarves, Bilbo, Gandalf, and some scenery, as well as a rule book. I'd imagine like a quick start style, so it would be the more A5 version of the main rule book. These are all going to be in plastic, of course, which is a staple for Games Workshop nowadays. And we think there might be a limited edition as well, because they've done it for Dark Vengeance, so it would follow a trend, especially with a new film coming out. We could get a lot of money in. But how's it going to go from there? Well, since they're taking the rulebooks off the shelves, that means that we can see a new version of the rules, so a new edition. In the same way that we've seen with Warhammer Fantasy and 140k, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a complete overhaul, because they've still got the army books for the different races out on the shelves. But we're going to see an update, so it'll have the same sort of normal mechanic with fight values and things, but it's going to be an updated version which takes into account all the new Hobbit stuff. One thing that I was thinking about is how do they balance 13 dwarves, but I guess there's going to be some scenarios that will have more of them in levels and things, so who knows. I suppose it's the same way as saying how do you balance the entire fellowship, but yeah, you can't. But then where does it go from there? How's it going to go looking forward? Well, potentially, after talking to people in the Games Workshop stores, we could see it being split up into three different books or source books, like we saw with the first Lord of the Rings game. When the Lord of the Rings game came out to begin with, they had books that focused on the different adventures and thought out units applying to that point of the story. So we had Fellowship of the Rings and we had Two Towers and such. And each of these had scenarios and stuff in them, which I assume we'll be seeing with The Hobbit. So you could have three books in the future. So you have The Unexpected Journey, the first film, The Desolation of Smaug, and There and Back Again. Now, how these are going to be split up is anybody's guess. It'll have to depend on the films themselves, but The Unexpected Journey should have a lot more to do with the goblins, I assume, as they go through Moria. Desolation of Smaug, maybe a little bit more to do with the elves. Obviously, Smaug in the title means we might see the dragon. I imagine we will see the dragon, which means we'll have a dragon. And then their Amaka game could involve the Battle of the Five Armies, which would nicely round things off and be a little bit like the Battle of Pelennor Fields in Return of the King. That was the main focus, so we could see that being there. What else do we see? Well, I'd imagine a lot more models coming out. We're going to have to see a lot of the dwarves coming out, potentially remade to fit the new look, although who knows. It might be like mixing and matching between the two forces, as it were, because obviously there's an entire dwarven army there at the Battle of the Five Armies later on, and all the dwarves are very different from the Gimli style that we saw in the first film, and the other dwarves that were there, they were very sort of plain and all the same, whereas now they've changed it to have them all with their own personalities. So maybe we'll see something to do with the different clans in that respect, but you never know. There's also going to be more elves, obviously. You're going to see a new Legolas model, I imagine. The Radagast model has been floating around the internet somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where we can see that, but I'm assured that it's out there. It's a very early sculpted or something like that, so that's floating around in the atmosphere. And there you go. That's pretty much all that we kind of know at the moment, or honestly, as much as I know about the new Hobbit films and how it ties into Games Workshop. If anybody has any information whatsoever about it, don't hesitate to comment below and let me know, because I am all for getting back into Lord of the Rings strategy battle game when it comes out. In fact, I'm going to buy the box set, however much it costs. There's been talk of it being a little bit more expensive than normal. We're sort of seeing them around the £60–70 mark for a starter set nowadays from Games Workshop, but they are hinting a little bit more. Just how much more that is, I don't know. But Games Workshop seem to be able to charge whatever they want and get away with it, so we shall see. But yeah, look forward to Hobbit stuff in the next month or so. Should be pretty awesome. I'm seriously looking forward to seeing the models. I saw some of the action figures and stuff in Waterstones, and I've glimpsed a couple of the cool sort of things that people have done, and the Lego miniatures as well for the new Lord of the Rings, and it's all sort of getting me hyped up for it. So can't wait, and I assume a fair amount of you can't wait either to see what comes of Games Workshop and Hobbit. So let's hope for a scenario-driven, skirmish-based game that will get loads of people back into Lord of the Rings strategy battle game, and loads more people enjoying it and playing it, making it a viable game once again, because right now it really isn't. Nobody ever seems to be playing it at the clubs or anything like that. So yeah, leave it at that and see what happens. I'll potentially update you guys when I know a little bit more, or if I know a little bit more. Otherwise, there you go. That's all we know right now. So look forward to The Hobbit, and be dwarven for me, please.